Let's talk about Anakin Skywalker's lack of attachment to his lightsaber and recklessness with his lightsaber in Star Wars Episode 2 Attack of the Clones. So I think part of the purpose of Attack of the Clones is to show Anakin Skywalker's promise, as the chosen one, to show kind of his power and his potential, but also his recklessness. And a lot of that is embodied in a variety of scenes with the lightsaber. So it starts off pretty early. Right at the beginning of the film, he and Obi-Wan Kenobi are chasing after Zam Wesell, who had attempted to assassinate Padme. And during that chase, at one point, Anakin hops over the side of the speeder and jumps onto Zam's speeder and kind of cuts into the speeder with his lightsaber, but Zam swerves and then his lightsaber goes flying. So early on in the film, he almost loses it. Like, he would have lost the lightsaber if Obi-Wan hadn't been, coming behind with the speeder, and Obi-Wan's able to catch it. It's a little bit of a comical moment, but it also just shows, like, Anakin's really not thinking straight. He's just acting before thinking through what he's doing, and he could have easily lost the lightsaber there. And it almost implies that moments like that happened earlier with Anakin, and luckily Obi-Wan's there to kind of save him from himself in a way, and, make it so he doesn't lose his lightsaber. And that's where Obi-Wan famously says to Anakin, "This weapon is your life." Well, okay. And I think what he means by that is, hey, pull yourself together, and, you got to take all this very seriously. You can't just be, all willy-nilly. You got to think before you act, essentially. I think that's what he's going for, but it's kind of strange, that phrasing, "this weapon is your life," because it seems to be at odds with the whole thing about Jedi not being able to have attachment to things and people. So, yeah, on the one hand, this weapon's your life. On the other hand, don't be too attached to it. But that's a first close call with the weapon. And then later in the film, in the kind of factory scene on Geonosis, or the foundry scene, Anakin actually loses his lightsaber. So his hand gets caught in this kind of, metal thing, and it gets cut through, and that cuts his lightsaber basically in half. And so the scene has a few different things going on. Again, it's sort of showing his recklessness, kind of his rebelliousness of youth, I think, and just not totally planning things through. Maybe a little bad luck is mixed in there too, but he's also lucky that he doesn't lose his hand there, so it's a little foreshadowing of a little bit later when he loses his hand, when he's dueling Count Dooku. But yeah, okay, so anyway, back to that scene. The lightsaber's cut in half. It kind of like sparks a little, and it's non-functional. So the first reaction that Anakin has at that moment isn't like, "Oh crap, my lightsaber is broken," or, "Oh, that's, this weapon was my life, that's really sad." None of that. His first reaction is, "Not again, Obi-Wan's gonna kill me." And so he's primarily concerned with Obi-Wan's reaction to Anakin essentially losing his lightsaber again, which is kind of funny because it's missing the point. So that's a very, sheltered way of looking things. He's basically only concerned about Obi-Wan being disappointed in him. He's not concerned about, like, hey, I don't have a lightsaber, or, hey, I'm supposed to be taking better care of my lightsaber. His first reaction is like, uh-oh, I'm going to be in trouble. So I thought that's a little funny, but that's when he loses his lightsaber, right in that moment, and it kind of sums up a lot of his recklessness and his willingness to act before thinking things through totally. But that's just a little bit of my analysis of his lightsaber in this movie. Let me know what your thoughts are. I know I'm rambling a little bit, but maybe you have some additional thoughts about how Anakin treats his lightsaber in this movie, or, even in the next as well. You can maybe talk about how he's changed as a character, how he's changed maybe with his lightsaber in Revenge of the Sith. A lot of changes happen between those movies.